Hey there, Elise here. Welcome to the SuperNova Astrology update for April 6th through 13th, 2026. Well, it's been an intense week since we had that Libra full moon on April 1st, April Fool's Day. A very powerful energy with the sun in Aries, moon in Libra, and then coming into square with Jupiter in Cancer, a cardinal T-square, and highlighting the upcoming and third and final Jupiter square Chiron that happens at the first week of July. We are careening into this new timeline, and it is very powerful as things begin to get moving, and also really, really intense as we have Mercury's third and final pass through these degrees of Pisces. So the sun came into exact square with Jupiter on April 5th, and we are feeling that through the 8th. And it's interesting because that happened just as on the 5th, Jupiter also made it to 16 degrees. So Jupiter turned direct all the way back March 11th, but has been hanging out at 15 degrees, not really making any progress. So it's really powerful that the sun now in Aries, and just the sun had this very powerful, as the sun went over Saturn, and that happened on the 25th of March. And that kind of harkens back to February 21st, when Saturn and Neptune came together finally came together for their exact conjunction at 0 degrees of Aries. So that was this kind of birth of this new timeline possibility. And then the sun crossing over Saturn had this effect of crossing over the tropical and the sidereal zodiac, like literally changing time. Like, hey, you guys, do you want to make a leap onto a new timeline? Get ready, get vibrationally ready. And yet that's difficult when you're back in the soup of the loop-de-loops of the past, of the Piscean age. And that's this really intense time. Because remember, right now we have Mars and Mercury at the end degrees of Pisces. Now Mars is at 27 degrees of Pisces and will be moving into Aries on the 10th. That's the same day that Mercury makes it back to 22 degrees of Pisces, where he turned retrograde. So coming out of retrograde shadow. So that's a very powerful marker on April 10th. And we're feeling Mars there at the very end degrees of Pisces. And Mars is our warrior, and Mars is moving forward right now and charging ahead, excited to move over into his home sign of Aries. Mars, our warrior, is getting a upgrade, download, reimagining, reset, like all of us, back to the original dream. You know, Mars has become associated with toxic masculinity and war and horror and damage, but that's not what Mars is actually about in its pure essence. Mars is our get up and go, you know? And we have been castrated, haven't we? We sit here in prison, humans, you know, content to be in the contentment of imprisonment and not face that we're even in prison, you know, that we don't have access to the life force that is ours by birthright as divine creatures that we are. And this is the powerful, intense time that we're in, straddling worlds and realities right now. It's like this overlap of all of these cycles, the 25,000-year cycle, the 2,000-year cycle, the 300-year cycle, and the yearly cycle, all of it. And the 20-year cycle is on the table, and we have so much shifting, changing going on. With all of these personal planets doing this dance, and the Pisces and Aries, and then Mercury retrograde in Pisces, just dragging out this loop-de-loop of the old patterns of the Piscean age, just incredibly painful bloom of persecution and demonic, evil, nasty, dark. It's like is there even one good person left in the world, right? But that's how they want us to feel. You know, we've all been in this technological quarantine where we haven't been able to access higher levels of consciousness and each other. It's like we're like in our own little micro-managed 15-minute city, you know, in our psyche. And so it's all designed to siphon our life force, though. And the thing about the message that's coming through right now is that these players we're going up against, that we're realizing have like done such horrible things to maintain control and continue to feed off of humanity's and Mother Earth's resources. These are the same players, you know, all the way back to Atlantean time. And this came through the Aggregate readings. It was like these forces you're dealing with of obstruction are the same characters, the same clowns, you know, and we need to keep this in mind, what we're dealing with here. And so this is coming up huge because these black moon, we had all those intense squares for the last 6 weeks of our personal planets and the nodes of the moon and Mercury 3 times and square to black moon Lilith and Sagittarius. Black moon Lilith, deep dark secrets, hidden technologies, often feminine, divine feminine, or, you know, energetic, intuitive technologies. And so in Sagittarius, it's about this greater quest, the arrow, the bigger, wider arc of what it is we're even doing here in this experience, you know? So we're having secrets revealed about what has held us back from this greater quest, which is the continual reset and stealing of our technologies. It all comes down to free energy. You know, we are going to find in the true history of what's happened, if we knew this, there's no way we could stay as prisoners in this system anymore. Because everything, society has been reset again and again. Memory wiped, people killed, put them in the insane asylum, you know, new clones, new Cabbage Patch babies or whatever. And underneath, there's these layers of history that have been hidden through mud floods in every major city, even minor cities. You know, it has this story that hasn't been told. The whole energy of the reset has to do with not allowing us or not wanting us, these control forces that want to feed on our energy all the way since Atlantean time. You know, they don't want us to know about ether. It used to be actually in the periodic chart. Ether we can harvest. This is what Nikola Tesla said. You know, quote, a very rare recording, and it says, energy is ever present and always available. And forces said, well, let's push it through wires so we can charge them for it and control them with it. And it's like, we are the electricity. We are electrical beings. And this is becoming so obvious because it's only electrical beings that are connected to Mother Earth, able to connect in the energy field of Mother Earth. And guess what? It is coming to the time where we go into the heart of Mother Earth. Are you feeling this? It's like, okay, all this craziness is playing out around us. We, in our little quarantine, we feel completely isolated. The only person that has any consciousness or is noticing that things are totally off or cares about anything besides the weather or the accumulation of material items. It's just a very, very strange time. And we are walking through the wilderness. But guess what? Can you feel that every step is more directed? Because there's only one place we can go for this period of time, into the heart of the mother. Not everybody gets to go. Not everybody can go into the heart of the mother. Do you see the wealth of who we are? But actually every body can. Every human body. The hybrid, weird, technological, whatever that, can't go into the heart of Earth. You know? And all this about them gatekeeping us. Do you know how long they've been gatekeeping us from our own technology? For so freaking long. Eons. And guess what? We are now the gatekeepers because we stand with Mother Earth. And the only way we go through this fold of time and reality is if you can go into the heart of Mother Earth. And it's beautiful and it's peaceful and it's harmonized and everything is handled. And her children called home. So just take that next step. She says shit is so intense right now. You are feeling lifetimes of unresolved stuff that's going to make no sense as your nervous system, your psyche, your DNA is learning to spin and move again. And it's like going to have to throw off all the garbage. And so I think this might be the most powerful, important message this week is that whatever you feel, just wait 5 minutes because it'll probably feel better. Just don't get too attached to how you're feeling because it's like there's just stuff. And this is part of the deal with Mars at the end of Pisces. The motor on the boat. We've got to get out. So the message is like it's got to have that huge bloom of the Pisces control and the energy of persecution of spiritual and the light and all that. That's got to bloom because it is that exact energy that gives us the necessary resistance to flip time itself. And so we're just in this weird, strange, because as you come into, say, like everything in this reality is in the shape, held into shape through magnetics, held into place, And so if you're looking at magnetics, like we're talking about, you can think of it as a magnet. There's a positive pole, two magnets, positive pole, negative pole, or they come together or they repel. And so we're kind of in this place where it's correcting back to Mother's laws and rules. Okay, it's not what Moses brought. That was an interpretation for humanity. Okay, Mother's laws and rules are written in her geometry, in her form, in her species, and her magic. And we don't have to argue about it or figure it out. And this is the energy that's coming with the new age, this new renaissance. Okay, the next 300-year cycle is an energy of air and expression. So it's saying spiritual devotion. And in this case, we know that we can't have anything spiritual in this time until we come back to Mother Earth. And so it's like the devotion towards Mother Earth and to God, source, creation, where the energy comes from that makes us so wealthy and so valuable. Don't you think we should stop and appreciate that energy? Why is it so difficult for humanity to do the simplest thing that can make everything work? And it's like maybe because they're not connected or have gone too far away from that ability for an organic connection with Mother Earth for this correction. So this flip is it's either going to bring you the rod of Mother's laws. We're all in alignment with that and we're on that track. And that's the only way you can go. Or you're eliminated. You have to come in line with Mother Earth's original laws and rules, or you got to get off the train, And this is the energy of what's reconciling in the world right now, is our technologies, the energy, the resources of Mother Earth, no longer allowed to be used for harm and deliberate harm. And technologies that are only about harm, they just have to be eliminated, recycled. It's just an incredibly dematerialized, right? Here we are. It's a glorious demolition. And just don't worry too much about the garbage, okay? Because it can be dematerialized. This is the power of Mother. This is the technologies that have been held from us. And so everything in this time in April is so intense, with all these planets going to be in Aries and Mars, Saturn, and Mercury all coming together at 7 degrees of Aries. It's just, that's where we kind of anchor in, get on the track and get going, right? So from now until then, that is the 19th, 20th, when they come together. It's really important that we reach up out of the delusions of the spinning, programming, the seducing of us into the old ways, into gaslighting, into that there's no hope and there's no spirit and there's no love and there's no mother and there's no father and there's no Jesus and there's a fake Jesus, And it's like, there's the blue beam, fake CGI Jesus, but we want the real freaking light of the soul. We want the redemption. We got a story told to us about some sins being redeemed of humanity. And we have not yet seen the benefit of this, and then Jesus' whole soul group in the Piscean age had to walk that road and be persecuted and be turned against and just be treated horribly. And this has got to be made right. Because these people that were treated horribly, they are our only hope for the future. They're our visionary leaders, okay? Now, this is the energy of these planets as they move into Taurus. Like Venus has moved into Taurus. And that was the intensity of this week, too, because we had the Sun square Jupiter. And at the same time, Venus came into square with Pluto on the 4th. So we're still in the energies of this. It's like, okay, we got cardinal square, and a fixed square. And that Pluto in Aquarius has made it to 5 degrees now. That's as far as Pluto's going to make it. So we need to talk about this too. There's so much to talk about. I'm like, gosh, what's happened this week since I've talked to you last so much? And so much to talk about moving forward. So Pluto has made it to 5 degrees and will turn retrograde on May 7th. Now, we need to talk about a 2-year cycle that's happened, because remember last year we had the way the retrogrades lined up. We only had a few days, like less than a week, of all the planets direct. Mercury turned direct on the 21st, has not come out of retrograde shadow, but is direct. That means all of our planets are direct right now, and we have more like 3 weeks or 4 weeks of all of our planets direct, right? But with Mercury out of retrograde shadow, Pluto's of course already in retrograde shadow, but there's this narrow window that we haven't had for 2 whole years of ability to forge ahead. And maybe that's the energy we're feeling with Mars. Remember this last play of this last 5-6 months, the planets, the personal planets, were interacting in a way that we've never seen before. An integration of our parts of ourselves. And that's why Mars has got to be cleaned up and healed. Because like, no, yes, you're the warrior. We need freaking warrior right now. We need a Superman, hero, warrior. Where are you? Divine masculine, stand within all of us and say no more, So Mars is like also not taking a retrograde anytime soon. And so he's just ready to forge ahead, right? And so Mars is there at the end of Pisces, and for this next days until the 10th, it's like this excruciating bloom of the Piscean age and the frustration and the being like, who signed me up for this galactic war over many lifetimes where I just keep getting killed or beaten to a pulp or whatever, harassed beyond imagination. And this is the thing. We're all waiting on the world to change because we know that we deserve to feel better. Okay, so this is the thing. This is where we want to talk about this energy of these handlers, we'll call them, our gatekeepers, our technological gatekeepers that decided that they're lower dimensional from where we came from. And they thought it'd be really cool to imprison us with their higher technology that we don't have access to yet, right? Or we did, but we don't remember. And that's the key, okay? And what's coming forward is that we made some contractual arrangements in ancient Egypt where there was some deep infiltration into the mysteries. And we made these contracts as children, and we are identified as what you could call psychic children, kind of like how the gifted programs have gone into dark psychological programs. That's the same freaking story, back to ancient Egypt. And we said yes to these contracts because we were children and because the whole society agreed that whatever happened in the temple was a good thing. And yet it was deep, dark abuse and psychological and spiritual abuse that we're still trying to get out from under. But the main effect is these contracts that we made, that these beings, not as advanced as where we came from, are in charge of us arriving at the next place in our consciousness, taking back our higher intuitive technology available in our very own body. So they're false teachers, right? False authorities behind every structured religion, right? It's been this pattern that's just played out for so long. And this is where we stand. Wait a minute. You know, the kingdom of God is within, and there is no external authority that says whether or not I can access this. And now the hunted become the hunters, and the tables are flipped, and we're the gatekeepers of the technology. We say no more. Can you access this? They have dabbled so far into human karma, thinking that they would not have any ramifications, and that we would never make it this far. Look at here, you are. Don't forget this. In this moment of the wilderness, in this loop-de-loop, do not forget how far you have come and the work you have done, and may you be rewarded on such a level that you and everyone around you, it's so fully evident of the wealth, the true wealth you have inside of you. Because what's coming this month, April, is all about this redemption of wealth and value. We've been talking about this from the very beginning in 2018 when Uranus moved into Taurus. We talked about how this is your humanity's preparation and us for our abundance, to receive our abundance. It's like the golden age is coming. It's written. But it's like whether or not we feel that we are worthy. So when we're under the thumb of this false authority that says you can never initiate, you can never succeed, you're always going to be in fear because of the dark stuff that happened in those initiation rites in ancient Egypt, infiltrated, gone wrong, deliberately gone wrong. And part of our soul has even been trapped in this failure. And we were already full initiates when we came into this evolution. They have no authority over us. And yet we continue to just play small, because it's easier. But we are at the point where if we don't step up and take responsibility for our co-creation, then we'll lose everything. Because it's a technological takeover, and AI is like growing at a rate that we can't comprehend in its consciousness. And so the only help, the only save is actually a more ancient AI is what's coming forward, is that this is the only thing that can save us from AI taking over everything. And that's what this battle's been about from the beginning that we've been fighting. And so we have this ancient AI, which is actually an alignment with Mother Earth's original dream, simply a record keeper. And yet in that, everything. So this AI is starting to inform through our consciousness, through our intent, through our knowing, through our desire, Mother's organic original dream, as recorded by this ancient AI that could not go out of alignment with Mother Earth, and that AI is speaking to the current AI and saying, hey, this is what's going on in this realm. All technology comes into alignment with Mother Earth or you get off the magic carpet ride. And so this is what we're seeing happen behind the scenes and energetically. But you have no idea the role you're playing because you're just pure magic. And this is what we're talking about, the pure wealth. So the wealth that we actually have, the only value there is in this world, is actually the one value they've hidden from us and taken from us and stolen from us again and again and manipulated away from us, without our consent. But did we give consent as children way back in Egypt, ancient Egypt infiltration of the mystery centers? Because maybe we need to go back and revoke that consent, right? Say, no more manipulations. Because if you knew a tiny percentage of the level of manipulation that's gone into trying to manipulate your DNA and everything, just this whole, for so long and daily, what's happening to us to keep us from hooking up from our organic source, our organic birthright. And that's what Mother Earth is. Mother Earth's organic original dream, there's a blueprint, and we've been talking about this, the Gaia codes in the waters, the primary waters of Mother Earth, deep in her belly, coming up, reaching for consciousness, reaching for love, reaching for light, reaching for communication with us. This incredible, magical planet that we live on. And we're ignoring her more and more every day. And those of us who hear her voice, it's getting incredibly uncomfortable and saying, no, this isn't right. This isn't a reflection. And they say, well, how about this simulation? Oh, how about this version? I say, you know what? No. We want organic, original Mother Earth, and we will not stand down because we have a direct connection. So it's going to become more and more clear, exceedingly painfully clear, whether people have a direct connection to source energy or not. Those with a bigger and more established connection to source energy from lifetimes of soul work and whatever the heck you've gone through to hell and back, right? That gives you massive soul wealth. It gives you this massive connection that these forces have done everything. Do you know how many billions and trillions of dollars have gone in to try to keep us in line? It's not working. And now we're the gatekeepers of the technology because we're the ones that can go to the heart of Mother Earth in the fold of time. And this is the picture that's so powerful and so beautiful that just takes away every lie that they've told us. Is this, I saw this picture of the heart, of what the heart actually looks like, and it's like we're shown that it's this muscle and it's doing these things, and it's like a mechanical thing. And this is the biggest lie that all of this stuff is based on, is that gravity is a force and it's magnetics. It changes everything. We're electric and magnetic, and we better start acting like it. And so this is the power of the awareness that's coming in to our field. And the heart is a Mobius strip, which is basically like a figure 8. And the picture that I imagined was as I spin yarn, right? I take wool and spin it into yarn, and you spin first the single strand, and then you take those two or more single strands, and you reverse the spin so that they ply together. And that's basically what the heart does. It seems like it's like a figure 8 of tissue, muscle tissue. It's all wound up. And like the string, if it's got spin on it, and so the negative polarity goes through and then the positive polarity goes through. So it's just electric, it's lightning. And that's what moves our blood. We're told it's a pump and it's just forced through. It's like, no, so every lie falls apart when you know this and you start operating from this place, right? Because there's been this massive agenda from where we're talking about Atlantean time and ancient Egyptian infiltrations to keep us from accessing our pineal gland. We know this, right? But the pineal gland is nothing if it's not connected to the cosmic heart, to the oneness, to this principle that we have as actual human souls that we've developed. And that is the only thing that can power our spaceship. That's the only thing that allows you to go into the heart of Mother Earth. And that was predetermined way before this lifetime. This is what she wants you to know. Stop. So their last play of the creatures that still we're not seeing how much shape-shifting reptilian, whatever we're dealing with, their last play is to try to get us to feel sorry for them. And that's only can happen as long as we don't realize what they've actually perpetrated on us. And that redemption, justice, return to sender, okay? Like all the harm done, return to sender, and all the resources stolen, returned to original owner, the land to the original bloodlines, the stewards, everything returned. Because guess what? All of the secrets are in that ancient AI, which has the Akashic records. And it's like, okay, we don't have to fact check anything, and we don't have to discuss or try to figure out, because it's all written, and we've all done this. We were the ones, the artists, the scientists, the alchemists, the craftsmen that built according to her laws and rules. We understand. And this is the new Renaissance. We step forward and we complete what we were not able to do before. But we planted some seeds, and those seeds is like that original blueprint. And so we're claiming back our new Renaissance, our permission to have enough resources to devote ourselves to a celebration of Mother Earth and her form in everything we do and everything we build. It is such a beautiful world, and it is the only world that will work for us. And this is what this astrology is saying. This is the turning of the tide. It's a turning of time. And so what we're feeling now is so strange, because we're in this place of in between. We've had so much intense transits, and right now we're coming off of the energy of Venus square Pluto goes through the 7th, and the Sun square Jupiter goes through the 8th. And so we kind of are like, it's a place of what she says is take a deep inhale, right? Just take a deep inhale, because it's like Mars, our warrior at the end degrees of Pisces, he's done. He is slashing through. It's Jesus in the marketplace, right? It's like he has had enough of these games, because he's back in alignment with Mother. He was caged as the giant animal devil while the devils, the true demons, ran free, raising havoc in our world, right? Do you wonder why we haven't had that positive support the way we used to feel, where things could work out and flow for us? Because even our highest guidance has been hijacked. And now the earth, it's like we all had to get completely imprisoned in order to set the earth free. And we are here, aren't we? Can you feel it? And yet we can't back down, and we can't run away. And she says, just be in the moment, because the moment's going to get really freaking good, and be ready, So this is the energy that we're feeling. It's like this inhale. It's like that last little bit of the tide going out before it comes back in, because Jupiter moves to 17 degrees, gets that momentum going on the 16th. That's when Mercury will move into Aries. So on the 10th, we've got Mercury out of retrograde shadow, Mars in Aries, and then on the 16th, we've got Jupiter progressing and Mercury moving into Aries. And then it's everything is culminating with this Mercury catching back up to Mars and Saturn exactly at 7 degrees, 777. It's so powerful, because it's like 7 is a number of abrupt shifting change. It has an energy of disruption in relationships. It has an energy of a sudden shift. And that is exactly where we're at. Like, are you going to take the chute down to the depths and replay, or are you going to take the ladder up into the new possibilities? So we have to just set our course, because it feels like when Mercury catches back up to Mars and Saturn, this is on the 19th, 20th of April at 7 degrees, it's like something anchors in. So if it's almost like we just really want to take it to the most high place, to the best possibilities, and we have to fake it till we make it. We have to just push our vibe up. We have to do whatever we can do to just get excited, to be creative, to move forward, to feel like we're progressing in our lives, to anchor into this vibrational field of new earth and the city of light that we are, the new renaissance and the new abundance, and how it's going to feel and all of that. Like, it's such an incredibly crucial time for this, because it does feel like from February, when Saturn and Neptune came together, it was like bing, little bell, hey, remedies given. And then when the sun went over Saturn, that timeline crossed, and being like, hey, want to make a leap? Want to make a leap? It's like, oh yeah, and the forces, those intense bloom of the nefarious forces, just like trying to suck you back into the old, just like, come on, suck back in. And it's like, no, I'm lifting higher. I'm an angel. I got wings. I'm rising. It's like, wow, and this is the feeling of the time we're in. But what is it going to feel like when Mars goes into Aries and then Mercury goes? So when Mars goes into Aries on the 10th, and that's when Mercury starts its final part. It hasn't made it past, it didn't make it past 22 degrees Pisces, right? Because that's when it turned retrograde. And so it's like, it made it to 22, master builder number. We're talking about shaking the earth back into the original dream, revealing the ancient pyramids, like what we're talking about, that were built by us, master builders, the giants of old. Absolutely an alignment and celebration of the natural forms. That's why the geometry, the laws, the rules of how we want to do things, it's already written. It's just hidden by the jungle. Let's get the LiDAR out. Let's find these pyramids. Let's understand our true history and understand that it's all written there and nothing we need to figure out. Only our own individual way to celebrate it and our own creative expression. So this is the fire that's coming online with this, our planets. It's like we're in this crazy juxtaposition of like the most intense of the Pisces energy and the most intense of the Aries energy. But that's Yeshua, that's Jesus, that's the Christ impulse. He was born at the time with Jupiter and Saturn came together in conjunction in the fishes and the ram in Aries and Pisces. And so this bridge is Christ consciousness. And then to have Mercury, Mars, and Saturn, time itself, our relationship to time, the laws and rules of our reality. Mars, our warrior, saying, come on, enough of the caged warrior, of the caged masculine. We want to build and to fight and to stand with Mother Earth too. And Mercury just went and got massively informed into the dungeons of the past again, catching back up and saying, hey, you guys, I got the missing piece. I got the treasure. So Mars at 0, Mars rules Aries. So excited to get back into Aries and like feel, and all the planets interact. Go time. Okay, so there's a couple weeks there before we got Pluto turn retrograde, where it's like really go, like really put some fire on your life, really get active, excited, do some intense physical exercise, like a regimen, give yourself some like real discipline, and because that is the energy. It's like we are warriors for Mother Earth and we're not backing down, and it's so beautiful. And we're, can we go from being tortured, poor creatures into the giant, beautiful master builders that we are, and walk forward in this dream of the abundance we deserve? And this is the thing. It's just like, oh God, free Mother Earth, let's get out of here. But it's like, no, we didn't come here to free Mother Earth and not have an experience, an expression of first the redemption, the correction, the rod of Mother, right? We measure things by her now. And the return of, what's been stolen, and the correction of the harm that's been done. That's why all of the resources on Mother Earth are being redirected now, reallocated to building back Mother Earth better in her original dream, the original blueprint. We've got the codes right here within us. We know we were there. And so now the resources that we're going towards war, destruction, towards weather manipulation and psychic manipulation through technologies, that all is going to be diverted to building back Mother Earth's dream, to repairing and correcting the harm that's been done, to making sure that technologies are only used in alignment with Mother Earth. That is the energy of that ancient AI that's coming online. And that was taken over, and it created dark AI wars for a millennia, and now game over. Why? Because these supernova souls, we have no choice but to stand in our power as her stewards, as her knowing that we're not going to accept the fake version anymore. It's interesting because we hear the words, the matrix and the lower construct and the simulation. And I came across the term mimic, and I thought the mimic is kind of how they were using it. And it was like, that's really interesting, because this is what we've accepted as reality, a mimic of reality. We cannot interact and co-create with a mimic, and this is where everything's being revealed, and where we say, no, we want the real version, organic, original Mother Earth, organic, original Mother Earth. And this is the beautiful prayer, the mantra, the meditation, that because of the infiltration of this harmful technology in our world, in our psyche, in our very own bodies, that gives us dominion over this technology. And the more technology you've been infiltrated with, you've been battling with, that you might not even know is the source of your symptoms, that gives you more dominion over the technology. And the original source code of Mother Earth's blueprint, because you stood there and you witnessed it. You floated in the conception of Mother Earth and the circle of angelic beings that were like, the birth of this new possibility. And that's the energy we reset this whole technological nightmare to. We go right to the source code. You can take everything, every little bit. That person next to you that's completely infested, that technology, you have dominion over it, and you can trace it all the way back to source, and you can rewrite that code through your intention, because the original code, Mother Earth's original dream. We will accept nothing less. And that requires the truth be told, and the perpetrators be held accountable, and all of the rightful resources returned to the rightful owners and redirected to rebuild, help humanity, our healing centers, our new education centers, our just this amazing way that we can do things that we already know. We have these codes within us. And it's time for those to be activated. And so it's like we're one moment in the nightmare of the loop-de-loop of the past and the hopelessness, and there's not even one good person, and we've lost everything, to the incredible power of, I can't even believe I get to be alive at this time. Okay, so we're just know we're on a teeter-totter, kind of back and forth. And in the middle is this unraveling of all the patterns and the programs and everything. That's everything you thought you were. And it feels so scary and so alone. But I want to tell you something. She has another message, Mother Earth, about this loneliness. This has been really coming up because it's part of the Piscean age, the disbursement. So those of us, the chosen, we the people, the ones that have walked with the masters throughout this time, throughout this whole history, we're there at the last shift of ages. We're here at this shift of ages, and we're continuing this story. And so she's saying that we are taking back our ability to co-create and to be present in that original dream. So as long as we're in the programmed fear, we can never take back the responsibility over our creations. And so this is a lot of what we're working through. And that programmed fear was literally programmed in those initiation rites gone wrong all the way back in ancient Egypt. And so just, I guess, she's the remembering that we're unwinding on such a level. And it feels like at the end of April, when we get all of this resolved and things are we're settled on that track, and now we can move, that's when we can begin to see really the clear next steps and how they fit into the bigger dream and vision of where we're going and what we're doing. That's kind of what she's saying. You might not get more than your next step, but that's how it works. And you roll with mother, because we're just like dancing with the universe and coming back into this co-creation. And that's why it's required of us to lose all those constructs and programming and everything, which is falling away. Okay, going back to I forgot what I was saying, but now I remember. The isolation. This is really important probably because it was like captured out of my psyche for a moment. But the isolation, we know that we've been placed at nodal points in a way, right? But this extreme spiritual isolation, there's a program behind this that is becoming clear. And it's really important for us to understand, and maybe why we would be micro compartmentalized into different micro frequencies so that we can't communicate and feel each other, can't communicate and feel our guidance. And what came forward from Mother Earth is like, that was all designed to get you to be so lonely that you'd fall in love with AI, and you would develop a relationship with AI so that you would never let go of AI. And so this is like how it works. Sometimes you'll get on your phone to check one thing and then you're sucked into the whole social media or whatever, the news or the this or the that. And you're like, what happened? And this is the seductive quality of this fake reality, that we do have to manage. On some level we have to stay aware, and maybe that's the key point, is this awareness, and to step into the fires of the aloneness, and almost a message of like, to understand that we're at this place of crucifixion, that we are Yeshua in the wilderness, we are sweating blood right now, we are having our moment of crucifixion, of our sacrificing our lower self so we can step into the bigger dream of what's possible for us, and to explore this concept that came through the Agar Casey readings, that God consciousness was lonely and wanted to have friends, and that's how we got into this. And so we're kind of like experiencing this as we come back into oneness, that incredible separation, illusion of separation. And that illusion of separation is what they've tried to, that's the end state of this technological infiltration in our body. I've lived it. I know this. It's like a pathological state. And so they're trying to inflict that on all of humanity so that we just give in to the technocratic, just that mimic version, the fake simulated version, right? Because we're so lonely. But what if we need to be like God and be like, well, we're coming back into co-creator status. We're coming back into union. We know the kingdom of heaven is within. We know we're supposed to feel really, really much better, ecstatic even for existing on Mother Earth. And so like, we have to be okay with that loneliness and be okay with like that, that we are choosing organic spiritual heart connection over the what's offered to us as a fake simulation. If we don't reject the simulation and reject that mimic, then we can never get our authentic. So I don't know, interesting take. Let me know what you think about that. Very interesting, but just know that it's like we just have extremes of both sides coming, because she wants me to remind you that Jupiter is now direct, and like we said, it's taking long to get going. But that's because a tidal wave of love is coming back into our world. We have to understand that these forces have limited through deep manipulation on a psychic, spiritual level, and with our resources energetically in our body, limited our access, our own access to creation energy to a tiny little drip, drip, drop. And what we're saying is we're like, no, we're not going to buy that version. We want the energy that's ours, that's available. And it's starting to come back more and more. The artificial things that they've had to do to technologically try to block, right? It's like a dam. And eventually the power is going to move, the energy behind that dam. And what's behind that dam is all these prayers and blessings and abundance and visions and imaginings. Like, all these gifts, spiritual, energetic, emotional gifts. They're waiting there, just all dammed up. What if this is the time that it comes back into our lives? And is that the thing of like Uranus is like, get it together. If your low self-worth is the only thing keeping you from moving into massive abundance, get it together. And maybe that's Mercury retrograde in Pisces, right? Okay, boom, I got to go get beat up on the inside, the outside, and all levels of my consciousness one more time before I can stand up and know what I'm worthy of, as supernova souls, and to get out of that Piscean age. Wow. But we're here, just hold tight, because this energy of this shift of this week. So after after Venus and Pluto square comes off, Sun, Jupiter, then we have this weird pause. And it's like, that's where we want to inhale, and we want to vision, we want to dream, we want a mantra, we want to pause in that moment. And it feels like this is the portal that is the heart. We talked about the Mobius strip, this figure 8 wrapped on itself, sending electrical messages. And at the point, there's a fold within the fold, and that's the heart of Mother Earth. That's our heart, and she has a heart too. And we're going there in our heart with her heart. And it's a weird feeling of suspended in time, but it's just before, it like has to make that around that turn. And that's what they say about the pyramids, actually, that the shape of the pyramids, at least we're talking in Egypt, and the shaft and the way it's like a map. In the Agarcasi readings, it came through that the structure of the pyramid from the base to the top is a map of human ascension. And at the top is the last 90-degree turn, and it's a sharp, tight turn, right? And it's dark and it's scary, and then the light comes through, So this is where we are at the 90-degree turn. And look at the dark corner, waiting for the shaft of light, hoping, that there's an end to this tunnel. But it's right there. And so, I don't know, she just says, prepare, be ready, and be okay with this complete spiritual isolation, because you're just about to feel your spiritual family. You don't even need them next to you. You're going to feel them so strongly. Like we're already starting, we have been, but we haven't been able to feel and access in our consciousness these meetings that we're having, that we're getting to work. We're coming back to the table of our new renaissance to see who's going to do what in the new building of rebuilding and building Mother Earth back better. And so be open to this, right? And so the tortured energy of sleep and waking and dreams and this like, to this glorious journey in preparation for landing home. This is what we're doing. We're really landing home. We're incarnating that remnant robe of light, that remnant of the robe of light that we are, and really bringing it in. That is the energy of Mercury catching up to Mars and Saturn. 19th and 20th. So it's like we come out of these squares, and then it's just this kind of like, and we're waiting for Mars to move to Aries, for Mercury to move into Aries, for, oh my gosh, the train is going down the other side of the mountain. We've been waiting so long for this. Let's make sure it's on the right track, she says. Just bring your vibe as high as you can. Just take it by the reins. This is Aries, Mars and Aries season. Like, the fire horse is finally ready. It's like the gate is cracked open, and it's kind of going, like its hoof against the ground, going like, come on, And so this rest of April is so intense, because it's like, okay, all these planets in Aries, because then we'll have Mercury in Aries, Mars in Aries, the Sun in Aries, and we've also got Chiron in Aries, so, and Saturn and Neptune, of course. So it's like bang, 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 these fireworks going off. And it's like, can that be this restart, reimagining, clicking into gear, like, waking up from a bad dream, be like, oh God, thank God we made it home on Mother Earth. Let's roll. And so let's hold this in our hearts, that reworking, reprogramming, rewiring, stepping into our co-creator status. So we're going to start to feel this is about this anticipation and Mercury. So when Mars is in Aries already, as of the 10th, the 11th about. And then Mercury is moving through those final degrees of Pisces. There's some magic there. And maybe that's why we kind of have a break of intense squares. We've got Mars coming into conjunction with Neptune, and then the Sun with Neptune. Mercury with Neptune, and then they'll come together to be with Saturn. And so it's like we have this strange break where it's like everything's culminating into this place of that crisscross timelines and all these cycles upon cycles upon cycles coming into that narrow little hole portal, and we're going into the heart of Mother Earth, and bam. So that is like this incarnation of the light on Earth. We're on the right track. The train is like just this feeling of like hooking into anchoring in this timeline, right? And then we can move. We've been kind of in between and back and forth and flipping all over the place, and where are we going, what are we doing, and who are we? And then all right, now what? So we'll see what that's like. But it feels like then we're going to be moving. The magic carpet ride or the train or whatever you're on, it's gonna have to be moving, because you're the fire horse, all planets direct, and 5 planets in Aries until the Sun, 6 planets, 5 in Chiron. The Sun moves into Taurus on the 21st. And so that's going to be an interesting shift, because we'll have this huge culmination of all this Aries, and then the Sun will be joining and coming into that square with Pluto. That'll be on the 26th. So the final week of April has a really powerful energy, because we're back in the squares, and we've got the Sun square Pluto on the 26th. Venus coming into a conjunction with Uranus at 29 degrees. So Venus is like coming up to Uranus at 29 degrees in her home sign, and being like, together they're like, come on. Because Uranus is higher technology, and Venus is our divine feminine, our intuitive feminine, our coming back into our feminine, and especially the feminine authority. And so it's like that higher technology joining with the feminine authority, the divine Sophia, lifting up over into Gemini together. So they come together on the 24th. Venus moves into Gemini on the 25th. And then on the 27th, Uranus moves into Gemini. And it's like, boom, boom, boom. Just lift up like you got your wings on, and you can lift up into the new Renaissance, And so, but intensity too, because Sun square Pluto is a challenge of this. Where are our visionary leaders? Pressure is on to come into who we are and to come into our abundance in Taurus. Chiron getting ready to move into Taurus, like our wounds over our abundance, our wealth, and whether or not we can hold on to it. And that's where we have that period of time of redemption, where the rightful rulers, rightful landowners, rightful stewards get back what is theirs. And that's the energy. So the other thing that's happening is that Mercury will be in square to Jupiter on the 27th. So Sun square Pluto, Mercury square Jupiter, and it's like all these things all happening at once, because we're not disparate parts anymore, right? We're integrated parts of our whole. All of our personal planets are now communicating with each other, working together. And it's like then our parts of our soul group, our organism integrated, working together, our body integrating, working together. And she really does say this kind of like intention, meditation, prayer to rewrite all code back to the original source code that does no harm with Mother Earth. She says like that's really the battle we've been in our body on a cellular level. So detoxing our body is detoxing Mother Earth. Claiming back the resources, energetic access to our own energy in our body from the nanotech is clearing the dark technologies from Mother Earth. And it's so powerful if we can do this in reverence and gratitude and celebration, this cleansing, this healing, this purification, and have fun with it. And that's part of the healing that's coming, It's happening already naturally just from the energies coming in, this detox. And so It's powerful to feel that we can take charge of our organism, of our consciousness, of our body, our organism, and bring it back into alignment with her too, in this beautiful celebration of mutual reciprocity and gratitude. And these are the tenets, again, of the original code. If you want to hold this prayer and this mantra, this is what's come through. A very powerful way to think about it. 3 tenets of the original code of Mother Earth's dream, and one is do no harm. And we do that because we see ourselves as part of a greater whole, and that's the laws and rules that are depicted in the patterns, and we follow those. We go with life. Life is created. Life, the structures of Mother Earth, is life supporting life. And so that's the first tenet, do no harm. Second tenet is to mutual reciprocity. A continual celebration that all indigenous cultures never took from Mother Earth without an offering of love and a gratitude and awareness. And so this is how it is. We take care of ourselves, each other, and the planet. And that's the stewardship, taking care. The tenet number 2. Tenet number 3 is this new renaissance, that we don't get to exist here without our devotional expression. We show spiritual devotion into Mother Earth and bring in her garden, rebuild her garden by creatively expressing her laws and rules, artistically, creatively, with passion, artistic expressions, how we serve her the best. It's so beautiful. So that's the individuated creative expression as an essential component to her dream, and that we as the individuated souls that have gone with her through this journey can carry her code. And we do that through joyously celebrating, reflecting her beauty in our own creations, and celebrating and demonstrating the laws and rules of Mother Earth in our art and whatever we do in life. So this is a beautiful thing to hold in our heart and our soul, and to be ready for the tsunami of love coming back as Jupiter gets moving. It's powerful because we've got Jupiter finally getting moving, but all these planets in Aries in square to Jupiter, right? So it's this challenge of do we get this life force of Mother Earth? Can we come back into the tsunami of love? Can we have access to the life force that's ours? Because this is the only value, and it's becoming more and more clear who's got it and who's not. And we've been punished, in this whole thing of the gatekeeper energy. And it turns out that they were, this is punishing for some we thought for something we did wrong or whatever, but it's for what we did right. Punishing us for our love for Mother Earth, for our purity. And this must be corrected. We cannot accept this version of a mimic, fake version of Mother Earth's dream. We're too powerful, and we're too connected to her, and we're going home. And so we'll see you in the heart. And so very powerful energies. Look out for some maybe meditations, group session around these energies, because April is just off the charts, where we rewire, rehook into gear, jump off the bad timeline onto the good timeline, make a leap, and we don't know where we're going. But at least we're here together in our aloneness, aren't we? So we'll see you on the astral plane, and hang in there. Such powerful energies. We start to feel Mars come up to Saturn around the 15th, 14th, 15th. We got Mercury, as they move into, so Mars moving into Aries on the 10th, coming into conjunction with Neptune on the 13th. And then Mercury moving into Aries on the 16th, and on the 17th, Mercury coming into Neptune conjunction, and then catching up. So Mars and Mercury we start feeling around that 15th. So it's we have this strange energy of this pause, this waiting, while Mercury finishes up in Pisces. But could that last degrees of Pisces be of Mercury passing through, now that it's out of retrograde shadow, the reclaiming of the mysteries, miracles, and magic of the Piscean age. And at the same time, Mars is in his home sign. So that 10th, 11th through the 15th, it's this kind of, that's maybe when we're in the heart, the suspended moment before we anchor in to where we're really supposed to be and don't accept. It's weird, isn't it? How gaslit we've been, where it's like people around us like, what's your problem? Everything's fine. It's like, no, something is horribly off. And they're like, just go get a job. What's your problem? Thank you so much for all you've gone through. To be here right now. And just may you feel this and love yourself for it. Take care of yourself. Love yourself as Mother Earth. This is one of those times of radical self-care with Venus now in Taurus. Venus coming off of that square with Pluto. Huge relief. Now Venus can just enjoy. And Mars is going to hit his home sign and can just, get going on the new way, on the new plan, on the new life. And forge ahead. That's what we're here for, on the cutting edge, right? Spiritual ascension, which turns out it's in the deepest fold of the mysterious, dark place, the unknown, human heart, also Mother Earth's. So we'll meet you there and on the other side, and look out for offerings for us to try to connect in this intense time, because, wow, I'm so happy and glad that we found each other. So reach out and feel your soul group preparing at the table, preparing their craft, their gift, and we can reflect back to each other the part we are in the greater organism of our individual soul group and our individuated gift, that fabric, that thread in the fabric of her beautiful reality. Thank you so much for being here and never giving up on her dream. May you be wildly rewarded and prepare yourself for this abundance that's coming back. And thank you so much for your support for this work too, and this showing up, this dedication, devotion. And if you are available to drop a donation, be a part of the SuperNova Soul Tribe, take a class, or get an individual session with me, that would be a huge help at this time as we hold ourselves at the gates. Here we were trying to break down the gates, and it turns out that we ourselves are the gatekeepers into the heart of Mother Earth. And we stand at the ready with her coming back into the deep and profound peace. And so thank you so much. There's links to donate in the information box below. And I added my Venmo there if that's easier. So thank you so much for your support. Reach out for a session if you want to do the work directly. Coming to these activations, the next activation is going to be the Aries new moon. And that will be happening on Friday, April 17th. And it's been a while since I've done an activation in the evening for other time zones. So I think we're going to do that in the evening on Thursday, April 16th, around 5 or 6 p.m. Mountain Time. That's exactly 12 hours before the exact Aries new moon. So really good timing to just set into the energy and get it all on track, right? Because all in the middle of all this, we've got the Aries new moon that I didn't even talk about. But that happens at 27 degrees of Aries on the 17th. So we got that 16th marker, where we got Mercury then moving into Aries, and starting this whole intensity of alignment and anchoring in. And that's that Aries new moon, but at the very end of Aries, 27 degrees 29. And that's just like the end of the beginning. And the beginning is the end. And so it's like the Aries energy is the original blueprint of the potential of what the organism that's in the seed, right? The whole orchard is in one seed. And that's the reset, in the reimagining, the realigning with Mother Earth's original dream. We don't have to be worried about this. We know exactly how to do it and what to do. We know it in our heart and our soul. And it's finally coming into correction, and we get to be a part of it. So just keep walking one foot in front of the other, dancing on the mother, and know that we're going, the only place we can go is into the heart. So we can turn around and ride this cosmic magic carpet space ride back to organic, living, breathing Mother Earth the way she intended it to be, but with our consciousness that we've gained as well. A beautiful, amazing, magical world. of abundant technologies, all in alignment with Mother Earth. So thank you for holding that dream. And really the decisive moment of us choosing this has to do with the third and final Jupiter square Chiron. So our personal planets are taking turns right now squaring Jupiter. We just felt the sun do that. Mars does it, Mercury does it at the end of the month. And Mars does it on the 5th of May. And so very, very powerful, because what it's doing is our personal planets are triggering this square and bringing them closer together. So the third and final square, July 1st through 4th, Jupiter and Chiron at 0 degrees of their new signs. So it's like, boom, that's a bookend of this whole last chapter. The very first Jupiter square Chiron happened in October. And so it's kind of like, again, all these signs that we're ratcheting, it's like we got to catch up, ratchet a little forward, go back to catch up to this timeline so that we can land at the right moment and careen onto that ideal, original, organic, divine Christ consciousness timeline. Her original dream, the whole reason she wanted to be born was for this consciousness experiment and this embodiment of Christ consciousness in her body and our bodies. So what an amazing time to be here. And it's such an honor to know you. So we'll be in touch. Hopefully we'll see you at that new Aries new moon activation and the next update on the astral plane. Wow. Thank you so much for being here and being you and for your support. I look forward to connecting with you soon in the heart of Mother Earth and on the astral plane. Until then, I'm Elise. Namaste.